Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, it's Thursday, and that means it's Vlog Thursday. And I'm getting this video out kind of late, but Psychic Bob has been literally in readings all day. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who've been coming out to readings. We've had such a good time. If you want to get on my schedule, give me a call at my office, 703-825-3929, and we'll get you on. So thank you. We've been getting a little bit of a backlog of requests. So not to worry, I'm getting your messages. I'm trying to get back to all of you as soon as I can, okay? So bear with us. But I'm looking forward to the chance to sit down with you. You know, I'm watching the way the light is playing on this owl. This is my mom's door guardian. You know, she loves owls. And the light is falling on it softly. And there is our Sun Lord filtering through the trees. You know, we're at the time of year where the sun's power is really showing its waning. It's not even 4 o'clock and the sun's already getting towards setting. Over here we've got our moon rising. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Let's see if I zoom in. And as I can't see here, there it is. You can see a faint little dot in the middle of the screen. That's the moon. So we got Mother Moon and Father Sun. So it's a good time to walk. We're under both of the illuminators of the zodiac. The sun is really beautiful. Now we're out here, you can see it a little clearer from behind the trees. There's our Sun Lord. I'm just noticing these massive pine trees over here. They're just glowing in the afternoon sun. Really beautiful. We've got a clear blue sky today, I'm telling you. Well, let's walk on along and let's just spend some time together. You know why I'm down here at Mom's? I'm just slowing down a little bit. I have been doing a lot of readings, but in terms of like, you know, just life activity, I've been trying to relax and walk more and just have some quiet time. So it's fun to spend some of that quiet time with you guys. There's beautiful trees here. Look at this giant oak tree. Isn't that something? Really amazing. Oh, our Sun Lord is bright. Look at it. Isn't that amazing? Let's zoom in. I'm going to burn out my camera. Burn it out from the sun being too extreme. Is that amazing? A blinding white star. Pretty cool. So, anyways, we're going to walk on along and just, you know, meditate. You know, I want to say thank you to all of you who came out to yesterday's video. We had such a great time. It's so nice to stop and talk about the mystical path of Wicca, you know. So many of you said how much you got out of that. And, you know, it's like I always say, the mysteries are really all around us. So as we're walking today, we'll see if we discover any more mysteries. Our Sun Lord is definitely sinking already, even though it's early in the day still. And notice the long shadows cast across the grass here. Notice how the grass is green, just glows. I hope this is showing up okay on camera. I can never tell. I mean, I see it through the screen, but I hope it translates the same as what I'm seeing it. Anyways, speaking of amazing pines, here is another. This pine is massive. It goes all the way up in the sky, like 30 feet up. This is a major tree, and you know, whenever I see a pine tree, an evergreen like that, it always makes me think of the Green Man. I have a plaque which I'll have to show you of the Green Man, of him in his winter phase. I have a Green Man in different forms, and one of them he's done, his face is like the branches of an evergreen. But this tree is just, I don't know if it translates how massive it is. It's really big. Like here's the street going all the way down, and then here's this tree. Notice how high up into the air it goes. Pretty cool, huh? There's that tree. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but anyways. So, you know, whenever you're walking, you could just stop and say, do we see the face of the Green Man? Any of you guys seeing the Green Man? I'm not seeing him, but sometimes he hides. And sometimes he pops out. I tell you, walking through this peaceful neighborhood makes me want to break out into song. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Will you be mine? Will you be mine? Will you be my neighbor? People always call me the Mr. Rogers of psychics. I'm very honored by that. I only wish I could live up to being as good as Mr. Rogers was. You know, in the evening sun or late afternoon sun, there's kind of a luminosity, like everything is glowing today, the way the angle of the light plays. It's just a bright, brilliant glow. I'm liking that. I'm all about the light. I really am. Now, do you want to see some people doing magic? I don't think they're aware they're doing magic. But up here there's a house that has pentagrams on the fence. Isn't that interesting? Now the fence is a protective thing. It's, you know, to secure you. And it's almost like, I don't think these people know about magic, but like instinctively they've put up 2 stars. You see the red barn stars? These are also pentagrams. They're called barn stars, but they're the pentagram on those fences. I think that's kind of fascinating. I really do. So it's like instinctively they know somehow that that's a wall of protection, and they fortified it with the pentagram. Look at the beautiful blue. It's just that deep blue. Not a cloud, not even a chemtrail. Oops, I can't say that on YouTube, but you know what I'm saying. Nothing distracting the sky. I love it. You know, right now I'm reading a book called Fairycraft. It's about fairy witchcraft, the path of the fairy and witchcraft. And I found an area here that I think is very fae oriented. And I'll tell you why. Look at this lush, what I thought was grass below my feet. That's actually moss. This whole area is filled with moss on the edge of the woods. Wherever there's a lot of moss, it's said that the fae reside. And look at this little ravine back in here. Doesn't that look very fae oriented? Do you see how it dips down? It's dark and you know, when you're walking, pay attention to the environment, because you might find a little environment where the fae reside. And I really think that this whole area here may be what they call a fairy mound. Fairy mounds are kind of usually elevated spots. This is like a big, not a big, but it's definitely a rise. In fact, let me back up here. I'll show it to you. Okay, so where my feet are, you can see it dips down and then it rises up. It's an elevated, rounded area covered in moss. They would call this in Ireland a fairy mound. And it's believed that under these mounds reside the entranceways to the fairyland. And I'm telling you, I'm just feeling it. I've been feeling it a long time, but today I'm definitely feeling it. So we have to keep an eye out. We never know. We might see an elf or a fae person, a gnome. Look at this beautiful tree here. It's an oak tree, and it's slowly fading. Speaking of fading, there's our Sun Lord getting a little lower as we speak. There he is. So when you're walking, study the ground, study everything, because the fae could be very present. As many of you know, I believe in the signs, and I believe if we're attentive, we'll see messages. Now, this is what's so fascinating. I just literally found this naturally lying. I did not do this. But for those of you who study the runes, do you recognize this rune? That's the rune Nyet, which means stop or don't go forward. And so it's interesting that I thought this area is a fae place, and there's a rune here like don't go forward, don't cross. It's almost like a natural sign, like confirming that one should not cross through this area. So when you're in a fae area, always remember to be very safe, very, very careful to be reverent and sacred. This is a gas thing where they pump gas out of here, but I've always thought, I wonder if this is still in use because it's built in the Fairy Mound area, and the Fae generally do not like structures built on their land. And I bet you if we study the history of this, if this is a Fae Mound, there's been a lot of technical problems with that gas distribution. Because the Fae really strike out at technology when it interferes with their mounds and sacred groves. Anyway, it's just something to think about, but I find it fascinating that there's a runic symbol, right as we're walking in an area that I thought was Fae-oriented. Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. I think everything has a reason and a purpose and a message. But this is like I was saying yesterday. You got to be aware. You have to be spiritually minded to see all of that. Now here's this giant pine tree I was showing you earlier. This is from the other end of the street. But do you see it? I hope it shows up on camera. There's the moon rising next to it. It's very faint in the middle of your screen. You might see a little white. There it is. It's right over, I've got it about the middle of the screen. If you can see it, that is the moon. I never know why the moon shows up on camera looking so small when in person it looks so large. But we are at half moon now. And it's probably not showing up on camera, but the half moon is very bright and dramatic today. So there we go. Moonrise is already happening right next to the massive pine. This is very wicked and mystical. I love it. When you travel to places you've never been, when you get out and walk, you see the flora and the fauna and the geography. And like where I live, we don't have any of these sort of trees. There's different plant life down here in southern Virginia than we have in northern Virginia. But see, most people wouldn't even know that unless they actually got out and walked. Because I walk every day and study, I see the differences. This is a Wiccan. I'm very sensitive to those energies of change. What about where you live? Do you guys have, did you ever move to a place, I guess I should say, did you ever move to a place where you discover different plant life than where you had lived before, and it's almost like a whole different ecosystem? It seems down here it's a very different ecosystem because we're so close to the water, and that changes the whole water table, and we're in low-lying areas. So yeah, I think it changes a lot. Our Sun Lord is really coming down slow. He's about to dip under the brush there, and then we won't see him. But we're going to walk on along. Now we're coming up to another area where I believe there is a fairy mound. And let's see if you guys see this as well. Can you see this rounded hilltop here? Right in front of me. Do you see that? How the land goes up? I believe this is a fairy mound. I mean, this really looks like the ones you read about in the books. Very classic style. See how rounded it is? It goes down to a little gully here. If you come across a fairy mound, it's probably best to step around and not walk on it. But many of the ancient pagans would come to these sort of mounds and they would do what's called a blot. And a blot is an offering where you pour milk upon the ground and lay some cakes or bread, and you offer it to the Fae who reside in the fairy mound. So, we'll have to, I can't do it today because it's getting too cold out here, but the sun's setting, but we'll come out here maybe another time and we'll do a little blot ritual. Would you guys like that? Can you see that that mound there? It's very interesting. I'm telling you. Well, I tell you, it's a little colder than it was yesterday, so PsychicBob's not going to stay out long, unless I'm a little tired. But I thought before we go, we'd go over here and check out again the scrying ball. Let's take a glance in this, see if we see anything mystical today. Sometimes you can just be sitting and glancing at one of these and a whole vision comes. Now, do you guys see the sun reflected in it? Isn't that amazing? See the sun? You can actually see the disk of the sun. Now that is really cool. That is the sun through the trees, but the disk is a little obscure, but there is an actual sun disk there. Now that's pretty amazing. You can see the trees. There's my reflection. Yeah, I love the gazing ball. So there you go. Today you could see the disk of the sun. There it is. You see the aurora borealis, or it's like the light rays streaming off of it. But there is clearly the actual sun disk in the middle of that, if you can see that. That is really cool. So there you go. See? Again, you connect to a mystery. Scrying, the sun god, the cosmos being reflected back to you. All of that. Pretty cool. As you can see, the windmill is going round and round. That's one of my father's favorite things. It's still here. It's definitely getting colder, so I think I'm going to wrap up this video. PsychicBob's trying to slow down a little bit. But I am so glad we got to spend a few minutes together, and I hope this has been a blessing to you today. So anyways, tell me in the box below, have you ever seen a fairy mound? And where you live, have you ever seen an area that you think the Fae reside? I'd love to hear about it. Well, guys, listen, help me out, please. I need your help. Tell YouTube you want to keep Psychic Bob. Please like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. Be part of our channel. And if you want to get on my schedule for a private session, please give me a call, 703-825-3929, or write me at my email, PsychicBobHickman@gmail.com. All of those links will be below. Guys, thanks for being here. I love all of you. I'm going to go in, get warm, I think make a cup of tea, and curl up with my good magical books. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I love you guys. Until then, may all of you always blessed be.